Hello, Chris here from Solarproof again. In this video, I want to explain how to make the best template that you can in Solarproof and how to customize it for your business so that it reflects who you are and what you want to present to your potential customers. So the first thing here really is to know the menu. Okay, so if we have a look here, we are familiar with Solarproof pages in the proposal template. We can flick through them clicking up here. Now, if you click into the page, you'll notice this menu comes up. Now, the more familiar you are with this menu, the more you're going to get out of this customizing of this template, okay? And there are some things that you should know if you want to edit this and not run into any issues. So I'm going to explain those now for you. First, I guess I will give you a brief summary of the menu, and then we'll go over maybe an example of how we can enter some charts, change some text, and maybe some more advanced things like changing background colors, even changing images perhaps, which is a little bit trickier to do and a little bit more advanced. And I don't recommend doing that unless you have a little bit of experience with code. So first I'm going to go over this menu. Okay, we have this top section here: insert, view, format, table, tools. Now, you don't need to know too much about this menu. Probably the most important thing to know is that you can insert an image. Other than that, everything's pretty self-explanatory. Tables can be useful if you insert a new table. And you can also view the source code of that page if you want to, if you're familiar with code. So that's the top menu. The next menu, we have insert an image. So we don't actually need to go into insert image. You can just click this little image icon. It does the same thing. We have some outputs. Now, outputs in Solarproof are going to show wherever you put them. So if you click on them, they will highlight like this, rather than if it's just text, it'll just have a cursor next to it. So if we put an output field here after this, total annual electricity cost after solar, and we just put an output demand, peak demand before solar, there you go. That's 81.68 kilowatts is the peak demand value. And if we click on it, it's just a output field. So we can delete it just pressing backspace. And that's how that works. So that's the same with all of these fields basically. Now I'll leave it to you to fully familiarize yourself with all of the output fields. If you want a list of all the output fields, I will provide that as well in an email to you, and it'll be available in the help section. But for now, you can see you've got a whole bunch, and they're categorized here into demand, savings, you have cumulative power bill savings, you have a whole heap of things here, energy, so these are usually kilowatt hours or kilograms of CO2, that sort of thing. So then we have things related to power bill. You can do whatever you want here with these things, so your imagination is the limit. Energy rates, financials, so that's all your financial analysis. So then we have charts. Charts are very fun, but there's a few things you should know about charts if you're going to have a go at changing them in your template. So for example, if we want to change this chart, now this one is showing us days of the week, average consumption. Say we want to change that, we select the chart that we want to change so that we know where we're putting it, and then we select charts, and I want to change it to this one, cumulative power costs. So that's pretty easy, right? The only thing here that we've done is we've actually changed the size of that page. So you may not have noticed it, but the page is set up in a very specific way. And now that we've changed the size of that, I'll just save it and see if I can show you how it comes out. So when I publish my project as a PDF, we go to that page, it's come out okay. So sometimes what can happen is it creates another page or something like that, and you get a messy proposal. So in that case, you can actually resize the height of these charts. And it's fairly easy to do if we just go into source code. But again, I don't recommend it if you don't know HTML, or as long as you're willing to learn, you know. So you go into source code, you see a lot of crazy gibberish, but what we're looking for, if you want to change the chart height, is the default height is 250 pixels. So if you change that number, it's going to change the chart height. So that's a bit of information for you. Now, what else? So we have our site analysis. We have our solar performance. So all these pages, you can change them however you like. What else should we go over? So I guess there's these fields here, and there's some more advanced stuff we can talk about. Okay, well let's have a look at this. We've got a table, and I mean there's this extra value here, which is a typo from me. But you may notice that we have this background color, this blue background color, and this white in here. And unfortunately, this editor is not 100% straightforward to change that background color. If we want to change it, we need to actually right click on the cell, and then we need to select cell properties, and then we need to go to advanced, and then we can change the color and the background color. And unfortunately, you also need the code for your color. So if you don't know the code, look it up. Google has a very good grip on these things. So just look up HTML color, or you can do a color grab off your website, or ask your graphic designer for the color code that you need. And then just enter it in here, and it's going to change. So say we enter a gray 333. Now we have a sort of dark gray, almost black color there. And then we do the same for this cell if we want to change that cell, and so on. But actually, I believe that these cells will revert. Yep, because they are set to actually revert to your settings. So in your account settings, you have some default colors here, and we have our special color set there, and our standard color. So that's what that table will be doing. If you go trying to change the color, it's going to revert, and that might be quite frustrating. Of course, there's ways around this stuff. The only reason it's reverting is because we have something in the source code that's telling it to do that. So yeah, if you need more information about that, let me know. Otherwise, you can create your own table from scratch and then do whatever you like with it. It will listen to your instructions. So yeah, and then probably a more advanced technique as well. If we want to change an image like this one here, then we need to look at the source code and find the image, which is just here, and then replace this URL with the exact URL that we want to put that image as. I haven't tried using an external URL from a different server, like from your own website, but I imagine that should work as well. If not, you can get a URL for an image just by uploading your image into Solarproof like this, upload, and then you just find what you need in here. Say we want to use this image, you copy that URL that it produced and put it into that source code spot. So if that's too much, you can always hire us to do these changes for you and get this looking exactly as you want. So yeah, I hope this video has been helpful to you. Let me know what you think. If you want to learn anything extra, let me know so that I can update the video and provide a bit more information. And yeah, I hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks.